And my relation to China is that I spent quite 1 year abroad as an au pair in this fascinating country. I chose the program of Start Change because I think there is no comparable program like that on the market, and I also like the fact that they only specialize on China, so they really know what to do in this very unfamiliar country. That made me feel pretty good right from the beginning, and I also liked the website, which was very appealing, and you could read a lot of informative facts about China and the program as well. For me, the best part of this program was to experience such a foreign culture so closely. And right from the start, I fell in love with China, not least because I was accepted in such a loving and caring host family. I actually was extremely fortunate with my host family because they accepted me as a family member and not only as a worker, and they introduced me to the Chinese culture and their peculiarities, and they took me on trips and even flew with me on holidays. Yeah, and not to forget my 2 host siblings. They showed me again and again how quick a person can learn something so difficult as a foreign language, because I was there for teaching them English, and over this period of time their English improved so fast, and at the end of my time they were even able to have a whole conversation with me. But what I appreciate most is that I'm still in contact with my host family even 2 years later. Well, where to start? I mean, selling in China didn't cause me too many troubles. I mean, the first 2 weeks in China were perhaps a bit strange because I wasn't able to speak a word Chinese, and I didn't know anyone over there apart from the agency's persons. But at the latest, after this time, I felt completely at home. At first I was a bit skeptical about the food because, you know, it's very different from what we know in Germany, but when you openly approach all the new things and just try them, you notice how diverse and tasty Chinese cuisine is, and I immediately fell in love with the food over there. My first time I also spent a lot of time with my host family because university hasn't started at that time, which was very great because we got to know each other. And in September my university class started, and at that time I got to know a lot of interesting people, which enriched my year in China and made it a memorable one. When I started my trip to China in July 2015, my Chinese vocabulary was 0. After my first week in China, I picked up the basics, saying things like "how are you?" and "I want that" or this, and of course the words my host family used very often. But my Chinese became really good when I started class in September. At that time I had classes every day for 3 to 4 hours, which made it quite impossible not to pick up a lot of words. At the university class I've learned Chinese pronunciation, a lot of characters, and of course tons of vocabulary every day. I would say at the end of the first year of learning Chinese, my level was quite B1, which is HSK 3. So I was really able to communicate and to say basic things, but also more complicated conversations. And because my studies here in Germany is in close relation to China, I never stopped to study Chinese, so right now my level is C1, and last year I just passed HSK 5, which is C1. So yeah, I mean, Chinese is definitely a huge challenge, and you really have to study diligently and continuously to move forward in this language. But once you understand this unique language, you want to learn more and more and more. program was extremely helpful for me in my future studies because after graduating from high school I didn't know exactly what to study, so this year in China was actually pretty helpful for my decision. After only 6 months in China, however, it was clear to me that it has to do something with Chinese culture and the economy. At my current university, I finally found a study program which combines both international management taught in German and Chinese, combined with a stay abroad of 2 years in Beijing. If I hadn't chosen the au pair program in China, I might have never applied at my current university and thus not found my dream study. A nice side effect of this program was that my English improved significantly, and now I feel more comfortable speaking it than ever before. All in all, the au pair year in China was pretty formative for my future life, and I can only recommend it to those who are really interested in Chinese culture, language, and of course kids as well, because you have to spend a lot of time with the kids. Life in China is completely different from what we know here in Germany. The cities, like the capital or the large cities, are extremely huge and characterized by skyscrapers. You can find street food on every corner, and public transportation is extremely cheap, especially compared to German public transportation. The Chinese are extremely curious and open-minded towards foreigners, and if you are open-minded as well, you can establish really cool, interesting and memorable relationships and conversations. Within the family, you can rely on each other, and the grandparents support the families wherever they can. So for me, describing life in China to someone who has never been there before is extremely difficult, because this country is so huge and it's so fascinating, and it's just not possible for me to put it in a few sentences. So I can just advise you, if you're really interested in culture, the language, the food, and everything which has something to do with China, I advise you to take all your courage together and fly there for 1 year. Probably after this year you know what I'm talking about. So this was all from my side. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you could decide whether or not you should go to China or not. I personally can recommend it to everyone because it's totally different from what we know in China, in Germany, and yeah, take your courage together and experience this beautiful country. Bye!